Hey, what's up? Welcome to Entertainment and Star Wars. My name is Rob, and I'm here. You're there. Well, there. I gotta get ready. Anyway, I'm here right now with the entertainment crew, and representing the
Up, everyone.
entertainment crew is none other than Luke. How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Good. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm hoping to get Glenn to come, and I'm hoping Shanie Entertainie. They're running a little late. Hey, shh, over there. Sorry, my daughter's making noise. So today, till I get the rest of the crew coming in, we're just going to talk about things that have videos we did during the week. We'll get into that. So I don't want to, waste any time. But first, before we do that, entertainment crew, Mr. Luke, why don't you tell the people all about your channel?
All right. So keep in mind, there's another part. The entertainment crew has more than one member. There's multiple. There's me and someone else. He's not here today, but when you watch your videos, you'll see him. His name's Shad. And basically, we work together. We make videos together. We also do our own solo type of videos. We focus mainly on Star Wars. But we're also going to be doing other stuff in the future when we grow more, like DC, Marvel, everything along entertainment lines, everything that's like big at the moment. But we do focus on Star Wars. And lately we've been doing, we did Clone Wars reviews. We're going to be doing, we have a series going on right now. If you want to join, you can come on. It's the live stream series of each Star Wars. And Rob, we actually want to have you on for Empire Strikes Back. I didn't let you know yet. But, right now, the next episode we have is A New Hope. But we have all the solos, all the prequels. So that's what's going on right now. Every Monday usually, but we're open to switching it around. And the recent videos we've done is character databases. We did Embo. Was like we're kind of like review characters that you don't know that much, their backstory. And we also did a tier ranking on the hottest Star Wars women. So that's kind of what we've done of late. All you guys out there, you'll enjoy that. But so that's kind of what we do. Pretty much.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, we'll get into that today. I saw videos you made was about Rogue One solo, and we're gonna get into those today. We might as well just talk about your videos. We'll talk about some of my videos. If the other guys come on, I hope. Anyway, for now, we're just gonna wing it. I don't care. Let's just have some fun. Just you. I don't care less. Let's just have some fun. So we'll talk about your videos first. I mean, we might as well. So the first thing you talked about. So solo was going to be one hell of a topic. So you guys did a whole live stream about solo, you and Shad, and yes. I'm curious because again, like I said, people might not have seen your stream. I'm curious about your thoughts on it. Out of all the Star Wars movies, unfortunately, it didn't do so well in the box office.
Right.
I did see a lot of people who are on Twitter did rave about it. There was a petition going around for making another one, believe it or not.
Right.
A lot of people were saying, "Oh, why didn't I see this in the theater? I should have seen it. It was a real good movie." So I saw it was funny because it was like day after day after day. I saw a lot of tweets coming out with people saying they wanted to see it. I know how I felt, but before I get into how I felt, how did you feel about it?
Let's be honest. I loved the movie. I'll be honest. It's my favorite Disney Star Wars movie. And it's also Shad's as well. It is better than all of the sequels and is better than Rogue One, in my opinion.
Whoa.
Me and Shad both gave it a 90% rating. And in my Star Wars ranking, it is in 4th place. I have Revenge of the Sith, Empire, A New Hope, then Solo. I thought this was a treat. And not just because of Pierre, by the way, if that's what you're thinking. I honestly really do enjoy this movie. It's everything. Here's the thing. I know a lot of people don't like it, and because it's not like in depth, but it doesn't have to be because it's a real high story. It's an adventure. I just thought it was really fun. It was really well made. The characters were really fun. I liked the characters. I liked Woody Harrelson. When he played Becca, I liked Chewbacca, I liked Han, I liked Lando. It was really fun. All right. I thought the movie was really great. And again, 4th place. So I gave it a 90%. I love the movie. I thought it was really good. Hey, what's up, Mickey Mouse? How you doing?
Oh, someone put the wrong name. That's not Mickey Mouse. This is Austin Powers.
Okay, Austin Powers. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Well, your name's
How are
Mickey
you,
Mouse down
Austin?
there. How do you explain that? What's the Mickey Mouse thing?
That was the old guy who used the same stream, right? So how you lads doing?
I see.
So, how are you, Austin? How's everything? Thanks for coming by.
Oh, you know, I'm all right. How are you? You guys
Well, I guess we were getting this solo, but but since you're here, you know, Entertainment Crew, you did a video about, you know, we'll get back into solo. Since Austin's here, you were talking about the hottest females in Star Wars. So I'm curious to see.
You knew I was coming on, and you made that topic, didn't you? Because you knew I liked the
Yes, I knew. I knew you were coming, and I said I have to get Austin's feelings on this. I have to get the Entertainment Crew's feelings.
The only one who knew I was coming.
All right, Austin. I have one question. If we're gonna be friends, you have to answer this. What do you think is in the #1 spot for the best woman in Star Wars?
Oh, it's Princess Leia, man. It's John. There is no competition, man. She's hot. She's smashed. She's fab. She's a bit of all right. Come on, don't tell me that you look. Slave Leia, come on. There's just no topping that, man. There's no topping that.
I disagree.
If you're gonna say Rey, we can't be friends, man.
Okay, I'm not gonna say Rey. All right, I don't think Rey is. But I think Kira is. All right, I think Kira is the #1.
Well, you know, I mean, there's a lot of beauties, that's for sure. There's a lot of hot, spicy girls, for sure. I mean, come on, you know, who's the girl from Rogue One? I wouldn't throw her out of bed for eating crackers either, you know. And she's English.
What do you think of Padme?
Oh, Padme. She puts the girl in swinger, man. Oh, my God. She's beautiful.
Yes, she's is. I think she's the best in the Geonosis battle, like her white outfit. I think that's probably the best.
Yes, man. Oh, she's groovy, baby. Yeah. I'd shag her rotten, man.
Yes.
So
I respect you, though. All right, if you think Slave Leia is the best, you know, I respect you for that, though. You know.
Well, I mean, she was original. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Austin?
I said she's iconic. You can't get more iconic than that outfit, right?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. She's iconic.
I was gonna say, back in the day, that had to be the every man's fantasy. I mean, still to this day, I'm sure that even what was a guy on Friends, I remember Ross, when they did a whole episode on that. I don't know if you guys seen it, but it was pretty funny. She asked him, what's your fantasy? And he says, oh, well, you know about Star Wars. And he explains the whole thing. It was very funny. So if you haven't seen it, it's pretty funny. Hey, Boba Fett. Boba Fett asks, how do you feel about Queen Padme?
I think she's pretty hot, honestly.
Which one? Because there was two Queen Padmes. Remember, there was a real one, and then there was the one that was played by Keira Knightley. Remember, because there was Padme.
Oh yeah, no, Natalie Portman's definitely the better of the two. All right, Natalie Portman.
I don't know. I like Natalie. I like Natalie Portman. I do, but Keira Knightley, I don't know. There's just something more shagadelic about her.
Okay. Listen, I think Natalie Portman is a better beauty. She's more popular too, man. She's got better roles. I'm not gonna say on the live stream, but she actually had a pretty interesting role in one type of movie. You guys might know it.
No, I know exactly the movie you're talking about, man. I just want to hear you say it. But yeah, she was switched on, man.
Yeah, it's really rough when you talk about, because you got Jyn Erso, you got Padme, you got Princess Leia, there's a lot, man. That's okay. Listen, let's get into Rey, because I know Austin said don't tell me it's Rey. Let's say it's not. You think Rey's ugly? You wouldn't put Rey up there?
I don't think. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Daisy Ridley is ugly, but I just don't. I don't think she's as good as the other ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think she's more of like Yeah, I'm not saying she's ugly. She's not ugly, but she's not as good as the rest. You know what I'm saying? Like the top dogs. You know.
Mind you, you put Ray in that slave outfit, and the game might turn. You know, the tables might turn a little bit. Because if I see Ray in that slave outfit,
no. Listen, you put Kira in the slave outfit.
You put Jabba the Hutt in that slave outfit, and I'm pretty sure you'll get a few into twigs and berries rising. That slave outfit's psychedelic.
Wow.
You can put Rob in that slave outfit.
Wait.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think I might.
Wait, I think we saw some of the Austin Power movies. Isn't Austin Power like, he has some pretty embarrassing moments in the movies, doesn't he?
Doesn't he or don't die? Of course, everyone's got some embarrassing moments, like when I thought my wife was when I found out my wife was a fembot. Now that was embarrassing. Who I suspect also Ray is a fembot.
Well,
she has to be.
You have embarrassing moments, but just not on screen. You know what I'm saying? If it's on screen, it's like, oh man,
Well, let me that I had a massage. Go on.
Think about it, Austin had some pretty good-looking women. He had Elizabeth Hurley. He had Heather Graham. He had so I was like, not so bad. He had the queen of I don't know if she's the queen of R&B, but she's Beyonce. I mean,
Beyonce. You went beyond.
You just keep jumping around, man. You can't. You just keep jumping around to each woman.
You can't settle me down, man. I'm not a one-woman man. I'm Austin Danger Powers for a reason, man.
He's a swinger. That's what he is.
Yeah, a swing, baby. I put the girl in swinger, man.
Wow.
Well, you know what, Austin, real quick, which one of those three, how would you put them in order? Who's 1, 2, and 3 in the order that you were with, Austin?
Are we still talking Star Wars, or are we talking Austin Powers girls?
We're talking your movie, your life. Which three?
Pick just one, man. I can't pick just one. It's like a Lay's potato chip. You can't just pick one, I'll have a threesome, please. Yes, please. Wow. I want some more.
What about you, Luke? Who would you pick? Beyonce, Heather Graham?
Listen, I'm much too young to remember the Austin Powers movies. I'm sorry. All right, I just haven't seen them.
Right.
I haven't seen them.
That's why it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. To me, it's hard because they each bring a certain quality. It's like you have your brunette, you have your blonde, you have it's like, oh man, Beyonce was good. Listen, I remember seeing Beyonce when she made her first video. It was like, I was like, whoa, she's beautiful. I didn't even know who Elizabeth Hurley was and Heather Graham until I saw Austin Powers, to be honest. But they were just.
The best shag I ever had on the show, in the movie. The best shag was a lot of China. Do you remember a lot of China? She was the best shag I had on the entire thing.
Yes, I do. But we kind of got off a little time. A lot of vagina. Yes, I do. I remember Richie Cunningham. Yes, how could I forget that moment? Richie Cunningham. So let's get back to where we were. We were talking about the top ranked Star Wars ladies. Where would you put? Okay, so first for Austin is Princess Leia. First for Luke is Kira.
Yes.
Okay. Who's number 2? Who would be number 2 on both your lists?
Padme.
I agree with him on that. Padme, I agree. For sure. Yes.
Padme. Okay. Let's just do top 5.
Am I the only one who thinks Shmi is sexy? I mean, Shmi's got something about it. We talking Shmi?
Shmi? Oh, yes.
Whoa. What the hell?
I like the older ladies, man. She looks like she didn't come up with, listen, there's got to be some reason that she, that God herself or the Sith Lord or whomever, shagged her rotten to create Anakin. Because I'm telling you, Anakin didn't just pop out of the oven for no reason. Somebody high up did her, and I don't know who it was, but she got quite the smack bottom at some time. I'm telling you right now, she's high in, what do you call them, midichlorians?
Okay, I'll give you my top 5. All right, so Kira, we got Kira, Padme, Leia, Kira, and then probably Ahsoka. So there you go. Top 5.
Ahsoka. Oh. Going
Well,
rogue
I'm
then.
young myself, so I'm allowed. All right, I'm young myself, so I can get past with it. I don't know about you, but maybe the older version, maybe Rebels.
She's 18. I'm fine with that, man.
Okay.
As long as she's perfectly legal.
What about you? What about you? What about you, Austin? We got your top 3 so far. You said Leia, you said Padme, and Shmi. Who would be the other 2?
Oh, you know what?
You got Kira on that.
Well, listen. Who's that girl? There was the girl there. I don't remember in the Rise of Skywalker. I can't remember her name because I only saw that film once. You know the one with that mask. You know the one that was dating Poe. You know that one. I forgot her name. I'm trying to remember her name.
Yes.
You didn't even see her face, though.
You didn't even see her face, man. Everything from the neck down was just perfect, baby. Yeah.
Well, the face, man. So you're telling me, what if she has an ugly face, though? What about that?
Man? I know the actress. She's actually hot, man. She's beautiful, man.
Oh, I'm sure you did your research, didn't you? I'm sure you did your research.
Of course I did. I'm telling you, she's switched on. Go check her out.
Yes, hold on. I even tell you. I know who you're talking about. It's funny because I know she lives in New York. Actually, she was actually at my job for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
There you go, Rob.
So, oh man, Kerry Russell. That's that. The name slipped my mind. Kerry Russell. Yes. That's a good one. That's good.
Man. It's very high in my stroke ability scale.
You know what's funny that you bring that up, Austin, because when you see Star Wars, some of the women in it, they're just not. It doesn't do them justice. And I'm going to bring up a character that I think doesn't do justice. Rose Tico. Now you're going to say, "Oh my God, she's the character," but I'm not going by the character. If you look at Kelly Marie Tran, who she really is, and you see her on the screen, it's like 2 different people, 2 entirely different people. And I think Kelly Marie Tran, as a person, is beautiful. You see her on screen, okay, not so much.
I wish I was Finn. At that moment when she crashed into him, and then gave him a little "How's your father?" I wish I was him. Because yes, she is quite the handsome woman. I'm telling you right now, she is. I really do. You're right. She's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at
and make it look all mannish, that was the problem.
Yes, I agree. I think she was too. Oh, this is a Boba Fett.
Austin Powers. Austin Powers. I think I'd pick you over Rose. All right. I think I pick you.
Well, I don't swing that way. At least not yet, man. Wait till Austin Powers.
Don't worry. Maybe in the future, all right?
The world is trending in that direction, so you never know. By episode 5, you never know. I could be doing the woman that gave the blue milk to Luke. The alien creature. She was quite hot too. That's the only boob we got in the entire series, too. It's quite disappointing.
Yeah.
By the way, Luke, Boba Fett says Kira is a why Kira?
Dude, she was only with Han. We only saw her with Han, though. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think
she's beautiful. I put her up there too, for sure. She's definitely got to be on my top 5.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the top 5.
I think about Kira's character. I'm going to say this. Oh, I saw Ventress. He said, "Is the hottest of both head is amazing." Well,
I disagree.
I don't know. I guess to each their own. I mean, I don't know.
No, Shad Shad would be good friends with this guy, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, Look, I don't know. That's not for me. I mean, I guess I don't know.
To each their own, right? Beauty's in the eye of the
Yeah.
beholder, right?
Yes.
That's true. That's true. This is what I'm going to say about Kira that was a little underhanding, and I can understand where he's coming from. 1 minute she's with Dryden Voss, right? And then
she never dated him, though.
Go ahead.
She never dated him, though. She never dated him. She was just like, she kind of had to kiss up to him so she could like do what she did at the ending. She tried to she had to gain his trust so she could work with Maul. I don't think there was any like relationship going on there. You know what I'm saying? I think she really did like Han. Even when she was under Dryden Voss, she still liked Han. She had a weak spot for him. Even Dryden Voss said it. So I don't think she was with him in that type of way, if that's what you're referring to.
I think that's what he's referring to. I think he's trying to say, like, look, wasn't she with Dryden Voss? Then she's going with Han, who she really with. Then she leaves Han and she takes off and now she's heading to Maul. And so it's like, okay, who's she with here? And like you're trying, like, I think that's
around. She's
here's the thing. I think she had, here's the thing. I think, first off, Dryden Voss, there's nothing going on there. And I think she went to go with Maul because she was trying to save both of them. Because remember when Maul was like, we'll be working more closely, which means that she knew who he was. And she was afraid if she went Han, Maul would track her down. And she didn't want them to get killed or anything like that. So I think she was saving her skin, not only hers, but his. Because I do think she wanted to go with him. She felt bad at the end when she ended the call. You can see her face. I think she felt bad. So I think she was trying to save both of them. And again, she killed Dryden Voss for Han. So I don't really think anything was going on. That's my opinion. That's how I kind of view it.
I think
of Holdo. Where do you rank Holdo on the list?
F.
He looks like I like her. She looks like someone who can take charge, to give you a little bit of a how's your father in bed, sort of be, like that take charge kind of personality, give me the Holdo maneuver,
Listen, man, I don't know. We all teach their own, but I don't think that's what I'd like, especially not the purple hair. I don't know. I just think that's a little bit.
Purple hair, I'm telling you, that purple hair is quite fetching for me. I like purple hair. I like anime too, so maybe that's a reason.
Wow. Okay.
I don't like the role in the film, but I do think, I think she has her merits. And that neck, I don't know what she could do with that stretchy neck. I don't know.
Isn't she like 50 or something? I don't know. To me, I'm a little bit young.
On age, man. Young or older, it's all the same to me.
So, Mega Jetty, I can't put this on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Austin. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I can't put it on the screen because it comes up. It won't come up. This is from Mega Jetty. He says Rose crashing into Finn should have revealed she was a traitor, or at the very least, she'd be imprisoned or ousted from the resistance for treason. I did a video. I said how I would have fixed Star Wars is I would have made Rose Tico a First Order spy. And the reason that she shocked Finn and she prevented Finn from doing things and was because she actually worked for the First Order. And I would have made it like in the end, like she would have held the gun to Finn or some kind of sequence where Finn would be like, "What are you doing, bro? What are you doing?" And then someone kills her. It's either Poe has to save him or Chewbacca, or someone saves Finn from her killing Finn. And that's how I would have made it end, with something tragic. That I think that would have fit. And it would have fit perfectly in with the story and wouldn't have made so many like plot holes and cringiness. And because I really thought that was the worst scene of Star Wars that I've ever seen was Rose crashing.
I'm sorry, I love Leia, but seeing Leia flying through the air in space, that was the worst scene I'd ever seen. Well, that in the Luke drinking milk and wiping his face.
Well, she kind of was aged at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Carrie Fisher, but she kind of lost the looks a little bit.
I'm not talking about her look. I'm just talking about her flying through space like, Mary Poppins. It was sort of a downer.
Well, here's the thing. In my opinion, it kind of makes a little bit of sense because why wouldn't she know how to use the Force? As you've seen in the Last Jedi, I think, she kind of learned how to use the Force from Luke and everything like that. and she is Anakin's kid. So, in my opinion, even though it was a little bit, it kind of like makes a little bit. I think they could have done it in a different way, but I still kind of wanted to see her using the Force. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the Force isn't the problem. She could have used the Force. That's fine.
Right.
But the problem was that she was breathing in space. She would have sucked out her oxygen. She would have died, regardless of what. I mean, she was floating out there for a while. It's not like she was just out there for 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden, she flies back like Superman, which absolutely looked ridiculous optically. And I know what you mean, using the Force.
You gotta admit, it is Star Wars though, so even if it looks ridiculous, anything could happen in Star Wars. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's true, and everything has apparently, which is the problem. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Which is funny because we both mentioned a scene that comes from the same movie that apparently. To me, that's the movie. I mean, I know some people like it and whatever. Okay, that's on them. But and that they have entitled to their opinion. I just feel like that was the movie that ruined the sequel trilogy. And if it wasn't for that movie, then we might not. I mean, it might not have been the greatest of all three, but of the trilogies. I mean, but at least it was supposed to be a setup movie for the ending. And yet, to me, it didn't feel like a setup movie for the ending. It felt like the end. It really didn't feel a middle movie. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen episode 3? Because I didn't feel anything. What's going to happen? I just didn't feel any emotion going into the third movie because I felt like it was over. And that's not how that movie should have been. They shouldn't have killed off the main villain, which they did. They made Luke like into a hermit. They make Rose almost take out Finn, which I thought was a really dramatic, exciting moment. And they ruined it by doing what they did. And then somehow they walk back without a scrape, without a scar. Nothing's wrong. After a horrific crash. And the First Order just let them walk all the way back to the Falcon and leave? Like, I don't know.
Well,
why
Luke,
would you want power that's going to kill
you? Say, right, Luke? Because I can see you're itching there. You're itching to say something, right?
Here's the thing for me.
Use the Force, Luke. Use the Force. Sorry, I just had to say that.
Yes. For the thing for me, all right. When a lot of people talk about The Last Jedi, here's the thing. Actually, and it's my opinion, I like The Last Jedi more than The Force Awakens. And why I say that is because I think Force Awakens is what started this whole mess, not The Last Jedi. I think it was The Force Awakens. And why I say that is because it was the start of not The Last Jedi. I think that this was the start of the downfall. Because if they didn't copy everything from the other originals, it could have had a better start. Like they could have done a new era, they could have done a new characters, they could have done new anything. Last Jedi has a lot of problems, but I think The Force Awakens does as well. Because it's what started this whole shit show, in my opinion. I think it is worse than The Last Jedi because it was so unoriginal and it was so like the era. I hated what they did. Like they just replicated everything. They could have made it new, and I think The Last Jedi at least tried something new. Even though like there's not much you can do with it. Like the fact that it was in the era that they created it in, like everything was just like a diet resistance, a diet empire. Like, I don't know if I could have done it better for a second movie. I don't know if I could have. Yes, Ryan Johnson says he's a little bit of a prick.
I bet you could, though. I really do. I think you could have. I'm banking.
Yes. But I think in our own head, we all have what we think of Star Wars. We have it all in our head. I think it started with The Force Awakens. I think The Force Awakens is worse because of how it set everything up. I think if they made it differently, the second one could have been better. I never know. So I think The Force Awakens is worse, in my opinion. Just my opinion, of course.
You know what I find funny? We used to talk about how much we loved Star Wars, and now we're talking about which one's the worst one, which in and of itself, the discussion is sad. No, I think this one's the worst. No, this is the worst one. Oh, you're wrong. This is the worst one. We can all safely say that it's a sad day in Star Wars then, when that's the topic of conversation. We're not talking about which is the best, which is the greatest one, which is the best moment. Right. We're talking about which is the worst one, unfortunately. Makes me sad.
Yeah, I mean, I think like when you talk about the first 6, you more talk about like which one was the best one of all. And there's a big debate because some people say it's the Empire. Some people say it's Revenge of the Sith. Some even say it's A New Hope, because that's what they grew up with. And it's like, well, that I don't really hear too many people say anything except they say maybe the dialogue in the prequels was cringy or the CGI. I think that's the biggest debate. If we want to go there, let's talk about the prequels.
Don't forget Midi-chlorians and Jar Jar.
Jar Jar too was a big issue. But to me, Jar Jar was only episode 1. And I think that if he didn't use too much of Jar Jar, it would have done better. I think that because the ending is fantastic. I like how we get to see the new army that we never saw before. How the clones were supposedly the good guys, and then they wind up turning on the Jedi, which was really an interesting thing because I was sitting in the movie theater like, okay, Dooku's dead. Grievous is about to die. How do they win this? How does this? I don't understand. How does it? And when he said Order 66, and I'm like, what the hell is Order 66? I didn't know what that was. I remember sitting there in the theater like that was the most shocking thing next to I'm Your Father that I saw in Star Wars, because I'm Your Father was another moment that you came out of left field. Like, wait a minute, hold on. The biggest villain in the whole thing is your father? Oh my God, this guy just blew up Alderaan. This is the guy who's trying to wipe you all out. And that was such a shocking moment. And to see Order 66
come at the time when I found out that Luke was Leia's sister and they had already kissed. that was Order 69, baby. That was quite the shocker in my mind. I was like, yes, that's my sister. You guys kissed twice, man. Twice.
Yes.
They could have gone. Maybe they should have. Maybe they should have gone to Alabama. You know what I'm saying?
I have to admit that was one. That was one thing that I don't know if George might have. Maybe he was going a different way with the story, or maybe he just didn't think it through, or he forgot about it by the time, because it was 3 years apart each movie. Right. But when he gets to the part and he says, "Do you remember your mother, your real mother?" She's like, "Oh." I was like, wait a minute, she's alive a couple of years and you remember and she's beautiful. But yet in the movie, she dies at birth, and that's your real mother. He's not talking about your Organa. He's talking about Padme. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yeah, there's something wrong there. Like, shouldn't she have held on to Leia and said, I'm going to hold on to my daughter, you take my son, and if I run into trouble, you come and take her, whatever. I was just like, something conflicted there. Something just, it hit me like, I think that was a problem too, that the prequels and the sequels, because it kind of messed up that part of the story.
Well, yeah, there was a bunch of stuff going on. Listen, there weren't perfect films by any stretch of the imagination. Either, when I watched the original trilogy, one of the things that I always thought was weird was when, right before Obi-Wan gets killed, he says to Darth Vader, he says, "Strike me down and I'll be more powerful than you can possibly imagine, man." And then he strikes him down, and then the whole movie, all he does is just whisper sweet nothing into Luke's ear. And I was like, that's what it was? That's what made you more powerful? Just say run every once in a while and come as a force ghost.
I have an answer for that. Here's the thing. Him and Qui-Gon actually help Yoda, Luke, Anakin, and all the rest become Force Ghosts. So, there's a part to play in there. Not like, even though they're Force Ghosts, their role is not to fight. Their role is kind of to help the rest to become immortal. So, the purpose is kind of a little bit like, it's different. Like, not everything has to do.
That's also their role, apparently. In The Last Jedi, remember, Force Ghosts can now burn books, right?
Yeah, and create lightning and stuff.
Yeah, right. Which also screwed the whole canon up, right? And also Luke. Remember Luke also as a Force Ghost? What did he do? Take the lightsaber out of the air, interacted with the real world, lifted the ship for her. There was a lot of...
Again, there's no doubt about it. there's no doubt about it. The sequels kind of did mess things up, especially, you know, also you got to add on the Force healing. There is stuff that they did mess up, they didn't think about and stuff like that. But here's in my mind, the sequels aren't canon. I kind of see them as like, you know, legends or something like that. And I think Old Republic is canon in my head. Old Republic is badass. I love Old Republic. I think that's canon. They should have never made that legends, honestly.
The Disney films for me, and I agree with you on that. I consider the Disney films to be like Disney like Mickey Mouse fan fiction. That's what I call it. Mickey Mouse fan fiction. That's really what it is. Sorry, Mickey.
The gaming A, I just want to get to there's a lot of comments I've missed. I'm sorry. I got to catch up here. The gaming A says Rose could have saved a lot of lives, but instead she chose to save one. I know what he meant by, which was Finn. And yeah, I think that I have to say that was probably one of the most selfish acts I've ever seen. And as we know, the Jedi aren't selfish. I know she's not a Jedi. I understand that. But when everything is on the line here and the whole resistance that's left is in a building trying to find a way to get out the back door, you need time. And Finn was buying time. Finn was trying to say, okay, listen, if I had to sacrifice my life for the entire resistance, I'm going to do that. That was the moment to me that Finn was take charge. He's like, you know what? I've always been running away, and now I'm not running. I'm done running. I've had enough. I'm going to do what I have to do to save everybody. And that moment just was taken away. That to me, it was a very powerful scene because I remember I was like, and theater, I was like, whoa, I'm really feeling this moment here. I really felt it with Finn. I was like, man, he's going to go out a hero. This is pretty epic. You could see his face, really good shots with the camera and everything. I loved it. And then that part came and I was like, oh my God. I mean, for me, forever, that will be the one moment that I was like, that was ruined. That was
cringy. That was a cringy moment for sure. I mean, that was like the best way to say it was cringy. I mean, it was just like, oh no, my sister died, a hero, saving us. Remember that one? Rose Tico's sister, the hot one. Really, they should have switched characters because she was smashing, man. Talking about really hot and gorgeous Star Wars characters. Rose Tico's sister, she was switched on, man. She was a bit of all right. And then, she went wrong, man. They did her wrong.
Yeah.
Like, if Rose Tico had died,
the thing for me, I think that I'd say probably the worst, or at least in the top 5 for sure, top 3 moments in the sequels is when Rey beat Kylo. I think in The Force Awakens, I think in itself that was the most feminism and probably one of the most political agenda type of crap that they have in the sequels when Rey defeats Kylo Ren. Because the woman has to
film, right? That was the first film that happened. See, that was the problem.
Exactly.
Like you said, that was in The Force Awakens. And that was like, where do you go from there?
I don't understand. But what I do understand is what they're trying to get across to us is, women are just as good as men. And women are better than men. That's the agenda. I don't like that stuff. I don't like that crap in my Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like that at all. I think that's bad writing.
Well, I don't know if you heard, and I didn't get to do a video on this. It's upcoming. Filoni was at a conference, a women's conference, 4 years ago.
I saw that.
And this was pretty big news this week. And he said, and I think it was Doomcock who brought it out, and I think Geeks and Gamers did it, and a couple other people. He said something to the extent like, well, we're going to have women in it and tough if you don't like it. And I was like, there's something I'm not used to Dave Filoni addressing. I'm used to him just telling the story, going deep into the story. And then he said, well, all Luke did, and this kind of got to me. He said, all Luke did was open the door and Leia went bonkers. Leia took over and that was the end of the story. And I was like, well, you know what? I wouldn't put it as if it was that simple. I mean, because it wasn't that simple. It wasn't as simple as taking a key, open the door. Hey, you're free to go. You had to get to that point. It was a struggle. They had to dress up as stormtroopers, play it off. They're battling it out. They're trying to get her free. They have to get off the plane. It's not just, okay, great, she did everything, because that's not what happened. If it wasn't for Kenobi, they're not getting out of there. They're getting pulled right back in. Kenobi was the one who sacrificed his life to get the tractor beam and sacrifice his life so that he can go on to teach Luke, who was eventually the chosen one, in my opinion. Well, he wasn't, you know. If it wasn't for him, Anakin wouldn't have had his moment.
Look, don't believe what Filoni says, first of all. Phony Filoni is not saying the truth. You know, full well in his own mind, he's probably going, he's just telling the crowd what he thinks they want to hear, to be honest with you. He's going to do, you know, because I don't buy that for a minute that he actually believes all of that. I just think he's playing to an audience and telling the audience what he thinks they want to hear, to be honest with you. Because, you know, I don't buy it.
Right. The most surprising thing to me is the fact that Austin Powers has seen the movies.
Oh, yeah. Multiple times, man. Multiple times.
Yeah.
Well, if in case, Luke, that you didn't see it, there was in the second movie, they do a little Star Wars skit with him and Dr. Evil. And he shoots Dr. Evil, and Dr. Evil's on the ground. He said, you know, you shot me, you a-hole. That hurt you, a-hole. And he goes, Austin, I have to tell you. And he goes, Austin, I have to tell you something. And Austin's like, yeah, what is it? And he goes, I'm your father. And he goes, really? You're my father? And he goes, no, I can't really prove that.
Yeah, I got to watch the movies. I haven't seen them in a while.
Luke, you will love that part. I can tell you was excellent. I thought that was so cool.
Being my brother, though. Remember that. He did end up being my brother from another mother. Remember that. Yes. That's the truth. In part 3. Yes, he did. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
It was pretty fun. It was a pretty funny part. So, because Austin was, it's funny because Austin, you were actually going through what Ray was going through. Where's my dad? You know, you were kind of having a parental kind of thing. Even Kylo Ren has a problem.
You know, that's the thing. At least Austin Powers lost his mojo, right? Well, how come we've never seen Ray lose her mojo? She doesn't have her mojo was clean the whole way through. She lost her mojo at least some point.
What do you mean by mojo?
You know what? Somebody, I forget.
You know, my power, man. What makes me me? My joie de vivre, my force, man.
Like what makes her powerful? You mean like what makes her strong?
Well, I mean, she never faltered, is what I mean. You know, like she never had a moment of weakness, and that's the problem with her. They never allowed her to have a moment of weakness, a moment where we can sympathize with the character, where we can actually empathize with her and say, we're rooting for you because we believe you deserve it. But for the average, she's just so, especially in the third one, oh my God, she's so competent at everything. In fact, she becomes hyper competent that she doesn't even need anyone. She's better pilot than Poe. She doesn't need anyone. She could force lightning at will. She flies. She flies.
And she beat Kylo Ren again. She killed him. In fact, she stabbed him and he was going to die, but she saved him. In fact, one thing I do like, though, is Kylo was going to kill her. Well, maybe. We don't know. But I think he was going to stab her or something. But then,
it made absolutely no sense either, right? Because why was she dominated? Why was she dominating him the whole time? The minute she actually gets training is the time when he defeats. It didn't even make sense, really. That she should have been so strong that she defeated him with like a wave of a hand.
Right.
Yeah, you almost feel like with the training, she got trained wrong, right? Because that's what you're saying. You know, the way I looked at it was like, okay, so now that Leia taught her things, now she's weaker. Now it's like, oh man, Leia, now you screwed up because you taught me the wrong way. Had I just proceeded to without training, I would have beat him again. But because you trained me, now you failed me. You know?
She completely forgets she knows the Force. I mean, she falls down our sinkhole. She falls. She floated. She flies. And she falls into a dirt trap. I mean, come on. Doesn't make a lick of sense. And don't even talk about force teleportation nonsense. That killed it for me. It was like, we're just going to teleport this. Let's teleport that. It was just, oh my God. I didn't like that.
Austin, I can really tell that you like Ray. All right.
In what capacity, man? I like her in that Leia. I like her in a Leia slave outfit. That's for sure.
Multi-Minder Scotty, this is a while back. I got to catch up here. He said the Last Jedi could have handled Luke's story far more better than what Johnson did. Yeah, I agree.
The Last Jedi could have handled. Who do you mean? What the last Jedi could have? Does he mean J.J.
The Last
Abrams?
Jedi. No. Ryan Johnson he's talking about the Last Jedi. He said that Luke's story, that Johnson made him into like a hermit and didn't make him the master anymore. That bothers you, Luke? You're not happy with that?
No. I'm just wondering. No. All each to their own. I think Luke should have been handled better as well. In my opinion, I think he should have been handled better. It doesn't really make sense to me that he saves his father and he thinks he can't save Kylo. That's just bad story writing, in my opinion. I know people can change. I get that people can change in the future, but if you know that you turned your father, which killed way more people than Kylo, by the way, way more people. He was burned. He's in his 50s compared to a 20-year-old who thinks that he's badass because he wants to be like Vader. You know, it is bad story writing, but I thought he meant like a J.J. Abrams could do it better than Johnson. I thought he was trying to say that, which I don't know if he can't.
I think you're both right in the sense that The Force Awakens is what led up to all this being messed up.
Right.
And The Last Jedi just turned it even worse. And like, first off, okay, you have her sitting there, right? I thought the movie The Force Awakens was very good up to the part, I think I've said this before, up to the part when Kylo takes off his mask. She calls him a monster and he takes off his mask. And then like the whole tide changes. Like all of a sudden, she knows the Jedi trick. Like, oh, okay, you're going to let me go. Like, how do you know that? Who taught you that, and when did that happen?
You didn't even know about the Force until that point, but suddenly you knew about the Jedi mind trick. Like, no one told you. At least Luke had, like, a little bit of discussion about the Force with Obi-Wan. She had no discussion with anyone about, like, at all about how to do it, and somehow she just magically knew how to do things.
And what's amazing is in The Force Awakens, we go from a minute when she's just shooting using the gun that Han gave her, trying to fend off Kylo Ren, like, stay back, which made sense to me because, okay, yeah, you don't know the Force. This guy does know the Force. You are overpowered here. This does make sense to me. And the next minute, like you said, Austin, she beats him. And in the third movie, he beats her. Like, what the hell's going on? The whole thing... And it has nothing to do with Johnson because that had to do totally with J.J. Abrams. That's all J.J. Abrams.
Well, this became the battle of the directors. Problem is, this at some point became battle of the directors, and it is not how you make a trilogy. That's for sure. You don't know one movie and then you say the next movie I'm just going to stick it to the other director and do everything opposite to what he planned. It's like what's his name? J.J. Abrams said, well, I'm going to pander to all the fans and give them every beat and every moment they wanted. And then the other director said, well, that's kind of stupid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off everything you did and shut the door on any possible thing. Like, we'll kill Snoke halfway through the film. We'll make, a second time for Kylo Ren to get defeated. We'll paint the whole resistance into a corner that there's no way they could paint themselves out of. They had 36 members on the Millennium Falcon at the end and somehow managed to win, which was unfathomable, considering the fact they actually blew up the bloody Death Star in the first one. Not the Death Star, what was that one? The Death Killer or Star Killer?
The Star Killer base, yeah.
Star Killer base, and still somehow they were winning, and I don't understand that. Nothing makes sense. And then the third one was J.J. Abrams' retaliation time back at Rian Johnson. That's not how you build a trilogy, and the whole thing needs to be stricken from canon altogether.
Yeah, that's a great point. Those are some really, really great points. What Mega J said, got nothing against Padme as a mother. They just rushed her death as a character. Absolutely, I agree. There was, to me, I cannot. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think his profile picture is really nice. I like it.
I just, just the fact that he's right about that. Like, I don't understand why they had to rush her death at all. Like, why couldn't she live? And if she died in between movies or something, wouldn't that have made more sense? Because then the story she tells in Return of the Jedi is absolutely true. I didn't know my mother long, but she was beautiful. And then, I don't understand why George did that. That was something that I couldn't comprehend. Listen, George was a prick
too. Here's another way these movies kill that movie, because look at now, you could bring back someone to life. Remember before, that was the whole bloody thing. Anakin switched sides because he was trying hard to find a way to cheat death. Remember that. He wanted to save Padme. He wanted to, and that's why he turned to the dark side, because that's where he thought he could save her. And then, obviously he found out that wasn't the case. But now you find out that anyone with a third degree belt, like a yellow belt in Jediism, could bring someone back to life. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous, and that kills the entire trilogy. That kills Darth Vader.
Yeah, because then people
say.
Yeah, because then people could say, well, why didn't Kenobi save Qui-Gon? Right? Like, Kenobi could have said, hey, listen, I'm going to sacrifice my life for you. Anybody. It could have gone anywhere. It could have gone anywhere. Like, anybody. Why didn't Anakin use that power to save his mother? Right? I mean,
right.
So
at any point that could have happened, and that was an absolute devastation to the Star Wars canon. That one thing, returning people back to life, and remember, she didn't sacrifice herself to return Kylo Ren back from dying. She didn't. It was only afterwards, when conveniently we needed to sacrifice Kylo Ren. Again, the plot doesn't matter. I mean, making sense of the plot doesn't matter. As long as we do anything, you can pretty much do anything at any point as long as the story wants it to happen. There's no rules, is what I mean.
Yeah, it just seemed like the Force could do anything now. Like, I understand if certain people have certain Force abilities that others don't. Like, we could go with X-Men, right? Like, one guy's Wolverine, he's got claws, and the other one is Cyclops. He's got a laser beam that he shoots them. They all have a power, but it's all different. And I got that. But to say that one person has all these powers and really doesn't know how to do it, or how they can do it, or that bothers me. I understand that the Force guides you, like you're doing the ship, like the Force guided Anakin in the first movie. Okay, he didn't really know how to fly, but he had R2, who's helping him, the droid majorly helping him, and then you have the Force guiding you. Because it's in you.
They set up a precedent for that, right? With the pod racing. Remember, they actually set up a precedent for him to know how to fly with the pod racing, if you actually think about it, right? I mean, if he could fly the pod, then it's quite feasible he could fly in empty space the way they had it made. I know. Whether you could believe he could pod race is a different story altogether.
Right.
Now, let me ask you about this. Now, I know the EU is Legends, or it's canon, or not canon, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever it is.
So, okay, so that kills the. I know, it's upsetting to me. So now you have the story of Plagueis, right? Because that's who his master is, but yet it's Legends. So
that doesn't make sense.
How does that make any sense? Right. It can't make sense if Plagueis can't exist, but he's in the movie. He talks about him in the movie. He has to exist. It doesn't make sense. Well, that book doesn't exist, but yet in the movie it exists. No, it's impossible to be that way.
Eventually,
what does he tell
make the entire like trilogy, like prequels, non-canon? You wait and see. Eventually, Disney's going to say the entire prequels are non-canon.
And I heard rumors, and I don't know if this is true, and I heard rumors about this week, that they're trying, that they may, and I hope they don't do this, that they may reboot the original trilogy. Did you guys hear that?
No.
Have you heard that?
They won't do it. They won't do it. Not until all the old fans have long gone.
Reboot.
Died.
You know what I say? Reboot the damn sequel trilogy. Erase all the movies that you made and make it new. All right, make it a new era. Don't add the First Order, the Stormtroopers. Don't add the Resistance. Make it a new thing, its own style of thing. Don't make trash characters, feminist characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, make better stories, more original stories. If you're gonna reboot anything, reboot the sequels. God damn it! It's like,
I'll do one better. I'll reboot the entire sale of bloody Star Wars to Lucas to bloody Disney. That's a bad reboot. Reboot that sale. I want my money back. If I was George Lucas, I'd be looking for my money back. I want my money back.
Listen, I didn't even pay them a dime, or I didn't pay them a dime. When I watched the movie, it was just my parents. You know what I'm saying? I didn't pay them 1 cent, 1 penny.
Right.
Good on you.
I hear you. Yeah. Isaac says just the fact that the script for The Last Jedi was approved shows the lack of control on Kathleen Kennedy's part. Well, he said Darth Kathleen's part, but yeah, he's true. I can't put up really big comments because it'll knock us out. I don't know why it does that, but I can't show it. It's in the chat though. He said, I think they should have killed Leia off screen. This is the same guy, Isaac, or used another actor for her CGI face. The story was held back a lot. They had to write out around the scenes of a dead actor who can't play Leia. What do you guys think of that? That's a pretty good point. What do you guys think of that?
You know
Luke?
have you seen what they've done with deep fakes? Have you seen deep fakes? Like their new computer program? Somebody recreated Leia using deep fakes, and they did it and compared it to Rogue One. They compared the Rogue One Princess Leia to a deep fake Princess Leia. And it's completely like amazing. She looks like she's right there. There's no reason they couldn't have used that technology. No reason at all.
Here's the thing. It's a little bit of a touchy topic for me and for a lot of people. Listen, if the family decided they didn't want to like deep fake Carrie Fisher, because, you know, and a lot of people say, if I were deep faked, I think that's a little bit weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe their family didn't want to deep fake them or anything like that. Like, when it comes to Leia, I'm not going to hate on them for that because it's not their fault that the actress died. So if they didn't want to deep fake it, I respect them.
However, they already did deep fake her though. They did. They deep faked her. They deep faked her. Look, that whole sequence with her training, that was CGI. Remember that whole her and Luke training was CGI. She was still alive at that point in time. Maybe after she passed away, they didn't want to continue deep faking her. Again, it's a little bit touchy. I'm not going to hate on them for that exact point specifically, but I will diss them for a lot of other stuff like the story, as I said. But I'm fine with what we got. If they didn't want to do it because she died, that's fine by me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. Her death was anticlimactic for sure, though. I will say that she just died,
and that was. I think it was fine because we didn't want her to die. We didn't want her to get shot or something. I think she didn't need to die like Luke did or like Han did, like she stabbed through the lightsaber. I think it was fine the way they did, with a peaceful type of way. I think it gave her character, Carrie Fisher, respect.
Give her a reason. She just died for no reason. It's like she got the COVID and she died. I didn't like that. There was like no reason at all.
Well, true, but she was trying to turn her son. She was trying to bring her son back to the light. So I mean, again, and she was getting old anyways. She was getting pretty old. So she was trying to turn her son back to the light. So again, that's a little bit of a touchy topic, but I'm not gonna hate on them for what they did with that. You know what I'm saying? They could have done it way worse than what they did.
What happened, Austin?
No, bringing back Palpatine in itself was one of the worst atrocities.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I agree.
Would you have liked it better with
Snoke a bloody clone? Then why not make Snoke a clone and just bring Snoke back? Maybe Snoke is the king of clones, and he cloned 1,000 of them, and maybe he just the whole thing was a test, you know, to test whether or not Kylo Ren was loyal, and
right.
then he has like a zillion clones somewhere. There's no actual reason to bring Palpatine into this. If you were just going to clone Snoke and have him in a test tube, then there was absolutely no reason for that.
They did it for money. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, it's fan service. I agree. Isaac says the minor inconsistencies between episode 3 and episode 4 can pretty much be summed down to George Lucas did not plan for Star Wars to become as big as it did, with overarching connected stories and stuff. Okay, I think that's a pretty legitimate.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty obvious. I think that's pretty.
Yeah.
What else did he say? Maul dying. Kenobi, please force heal me. Turn to the light side. Well, that might be a bit too far because Kenobi's job with that, Isaac, was that he was to protect Luke of all things. That was his job. He was to protect Luke and do whatever it took to protect Luke. So with Maul dying, I don't think that would have been seen. That Force healing stuff, Kenobi wouldn't have sacrificed his life so Maul could live, and Maul would possibly kill Luke or take Luke or whatever. Because that I don't think would have happened. So I don't see that happening. Let me see what else. Mega Jetty says, I believe that Anakin and Luke are the chosen ones. Luke was needed to get Vader to do his part in the prophecy. Yeah, that's always been the thing to me. Before Rey, I'm talking about, forget the sequel trilogy for this one. I always felt like when they said, "Oh, who's the chosen one, Anakin or Luke?" and I'm like, I know it's Luke because George Lucas says it's. I know it's Anakin because George Lucas says it's Anakin from the get-go, and I understand that. Mine was probably an unpopular opinion, but I just want people to hear me out. Again, it's my own opinion. I feel that if Luke, what didn't happen, if Luke wasn't his son, would Anakin ever turned? Would he ever have turned on Palpatine? No, because first of all, he couldn't beat Palpatine by himself. He always would have needed someone else powerful enough to help him beat Palpatine. So the only thing that turned him was because it was family. And that's what Star Wars is about, family. If it wasn't for Luke, I don't know what happens unless Leia does it, But if Vader had no kids, what happens? Because Vader, he didn't turn because of his kids. That wasn't the reason he turned. He turned because of Padme.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Had Darth Vader learned that he had babies earlier, would he have turned to the dark side? Had he known that she had given birth to those two kids, do you think he would have joined, or do you think he would have calmed down and said, I made a mistake and gone to the light and not become Darth Vader? That's an interesting one too, to know, whether or not.
Yeah. By the way, Gaming I've seen the comments. No, I'm not. By the way.
You're not? Oh, I totally.
No, he's calling me a virgin. He's calling me a virgin for some reason.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
There's nothing wrong with virgins, man. I love virgins.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. They're talking about me. I think they're talking about because I saw Bobo talking about Carrie. They're talking about your little community on your live streams. They're talking about the Kira Trump whatever.
Oh yeah. That's a whole separate issue. I don't think that what happens is when I do a Battlefront 2.
Listen, Bobo, we're not talking. Right, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the actual movie version. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about the live stream one.
Yeah, when we go to live stream, it's kind of like everybody does a cosplay, which is fun because everybody gets into a role of a character. Yeah, they pick a name of a character, and it becomes a lot of fun. So, but that's Battlefront 2, and it's a whole different element than this.
Yeah, dude, I was on there one time. It was getting pretty crazy, honestly.
Yeah, it does get crazy there, but I didn't want to get too into that. Okay, I did this, I did that, so I'm trying to catch up here.
How about you, Austin Powers?
Okay.
What videos for you? Should we talk about his videos now, you think?
Well, that's up to Austin. I don't know.
I'm okay with anything you want to do, man. I'm good with anything you guys had planned. I'm just rolling with it like the rest of it. Don't worry about it.
Should we talk? We could talk about other videos like yours, Rob, or Austin Powers.
Well, I wanted to ask you something because this was also interesting. You guys said you had a problem with Palpatine being there. So what about if it would have played? I think Scotty put this. What happens if it was Colin Trevorrow who wrote the original one for the Rise of Skywalker? He had Kylo Ren as the main enemy, turning that. Okay, he killed his master, and now he was the supreme leader. There was no Palpatine. It was him and Rey leading the charge. How would you guys felt about that?
What do you think, Austin?
The fact that Rey already beat him twice, who cares? See, once Rey beat him as a virgin fighter, takes all the the intrigue out of it. It's like had Luke beaten Darth Vader in Empire Strikes Back, then who would have cared about the finale, right?
True.
The whole thing is You couldn't have made him the villain, because at this point, what is he going to train twice? Is this an anime where he goes on this goes to train twice as hard? I'm going to train twice as hard before, so now I can beat her, right? And then she trains. It was dumb. What The Last Jedi did was paint them into a corner. There's no way you could have done it except for to bring Snoke back, which is what they should have done. But they didn't. Right. They decided to go ridiculous.
I don't think Rey beat him in The Last Jedi. I think it was kind of like a draw in that one. I think they both got knocked out because of the whole lightsaber
battle. Remember the Force battle where they were fighting for the lightsaber? She won the Force battle. And then here's the thing. They were both knocked out. She got up first, and implied is that she could have killed him if she wanted to, but she didn't. And then she walked away. So she was at his mercy.
I think with the whole knockout part, though, I think that was a matter of kind of luck, like whoever woke up first. But I think that The Last Jedi was kind of even. But still, I do get your point. The Force Awakens, she still did beat him first, so it doesn't make really much sense. You know what I'm saying? Even if The Last Jedi, that's up for interpretation who won, The Force Awakens was by far a win for her. So I do get your sense on that.
I mean, had they made it like
I agree.
The whole thing was like, I understand how they tried to make it sound like she was into this meditative state, and then she all of a sudden she got into like the Hulk, powers or something. Remember she was just started meditating, and then all of a sudden, oh, I know the Force now. I just I downloaded the Force, and then she started. It's like they didn't understand the Force. You don't know what the Force is, or
right.
What's amazing is that, first off, these movies don't explain this. Like if you just watch the movie, get the books, forget all the books that came out. It took books to explain the movie, and that's not what you should get. When you go see a movie, you could have some questions. There could be some little pieces that you don't understand. Like, I have to admit, like when I saw the Attack of the Clones and they said Jedi Master Cypher Dyas, the first thing I wanted to do was find out who is that guy. He's some guy who ordered the clones. Like, that was a big mystery to me that was never explained. And I always wanted to know, who is Jedi Master Cypher Dyas? I mean, now we know, but what happened?
Clone Wars explained it.
Luke?
Yeah, Clone Wars.
Right. Go ahead, Luke.
Yeah, Clone Wars explained what happened with Cypher Dyas.
So I didn't know, but that was one thing I really wanted to know. Whereas here, we need books. Like, what are they going to do? They had to do novelizations. Oh, well, we'll explain this plot hole. Okay, how did she get the saber? All we get is that's a story for another time. How did you survive Palpatine? And then he goes back to the old line about what the dark side is, like from Revenge of the Sith. Like, this doesn't, like, these movies should explain things so that the average person who just sees movies can understand. If I was just an average person who just went to see movies and didn't read the books or comic books or not that deep into this, I'd be like, I don't get this. I don't get, why is this guy bad? How is he bad? How is this possible? Now they explain, oh, it's a clone. Okay, well, I wouldn't have known that if I didn't read any of your novelization.
Right.
So I mean, why do I need a book? Why do I need a book to explain this? I shouldn't have to have a book explain to me your movie.
Disney needs to make more money. That's why they leave plot holes, so you are forced to go get books, and so you have to buy the extra material. That's why. Look, they did that with Marvel. Look, they put that. What was that show? The one with what's his name? Agent Shield. Agents of Shield, right? I mean, they had all these bloody Agents of Shield shows. Like, you didn't know what the heck was happening if you didn't watch Agents of Shield. All of a sudden, by the time Captain America: Winter Soldier comes out, you start seeing the rise of all the. You didn't know that there was this whole thing before with what the group was called. I forgot the names. Anyway, that you needed to watch the show. It's like Disney likes to hedge their bets and make all kinds of money. So they're like, oh, leave plot holes. Plot holes are good things. This way people want to fill those plot holes with other material. It's very cynical, really. It's a cynical world.
Isaac said the Force mind download crap is most Mary Sue explanation ever. Yeah, like okay, that was another thing because I was sitting there like, how does she know the Force? Oh, she downloaded it. When did we get that? Was that explained in Last Jedi? Was that explained in Huh?
Why did Luke go to training in Dagobah? Why did he just download the Force? Was his modem down? Did he could not download? Did he have low speed internet?
Hell, why didn't all the Jedis in the Jedi Temple just go to the library and download everything? Like, oh, we don't need all these books. You know, we don't need you teaching me, Master Yoda. Hold on, don't worry about it. I'll just use the Force and I'll just download this right here. I don't even need you to do anything. Just sit there. I'll download it.
You know how Spock does the mind meld? You know, why not just mind meld the Force into someone? Why not? Who the hell cares? Why train at all?
Mega Jetty says Kylo Ren beating Rey and killing her in Revenge of the Rise of Skywalker. Wait, I'm sorry, someone else commented. Should have what is that? Should have showed why he was the main character because he grew from this journey in a way Rey didn't. He was the underdog. Kylo Ren beating Rey.
Slow Wi-Fi.
Oh, you don't see the comment? It's at 9:06 p.m. If you don't see it, it's at 9:06.
Oh,
look at 9:06. You'll see it. So I'm not putting it on the screen because it's too slow. It takes too long, and it's much easier for me to read it. So it's at 9:06. It just says Kylo Ren beating Rey, almost killing her in the Rise of Skywalker. Should have showed why he was the main character because he grew from a journey. Yeah, you know, that's the thing about Kylo Ren. I think his character was done right. You know, they show him as a boy, scared little boy. He's almost get killed by his uncle. Not that I agree with that. Okay, right. But if I look at his story arc, let's say it wasn't Luke. Let's say it was another uncle. Whatever. I could see that him developing. Yeah, okay, the first battle he doesn't win, but in the last battle he does win. The funny thing is, it shouldn't have been Kylo Ren that story went that way. It should have been Rey's story. That's how Rey's story should have went.
Right.
And it did. And had they reversed stories, everybody would have been satisfied with this.
Right.
Because Kylo Ren was trained by the legend. How does someone being trained by a legendary Jedi Master lose to somebody who, even if you download it, I don't care if you know it, it doesn't mean that you've experienced it. You have to be able to physically do it. If you have no practice in it, you don't just become an NBA or NFL or anything like that. You don't just jump into the major sports because you read a book. That's not how it works. You have to physically.
About the Force. Like when we watched Darth Vader use the Force against Luke, right, in the second film, right? Remember that. Darth Vader doesn't pull out his lightsaber he doesn't need to fight him with the lightsaber. He only does it at the end, almost as if to test him, right? Because really, Darth Vader could have just thrown things and thrown him around with the Force. He was really a joke to Darth Vader. Darth Vader was just playing around with Luke. He wasn't even really fighting with him. You know, he was just testing him.
He was seeing how strong his son was.
Things like that. At that point in time, there's no way. Like, I keep going with that whole sequence, right? When Kylo Ren in the beginning stops that phaser fire. Remember, in the first scene, he stops the phaser fire and then just carries a conversation with it midair, and it stays in midair till he's done. And that's how powerful he was. And I was like, wow, this man is powerful. Now he can do that. There's no reason he can't suspend Rey in the air. You know, tickle her feet a little bit. You know, hey, how you doing, baby?
He did it. He did it on Takodana. He froze her on there. Why didn't he do it in the middle of the fight? You know,
exactly, because it wasn't written in the script at all. That's the reason why the script didn't want it to happen. That was how
she would have got killed. She would have been killed. Exactly. That's why. Luke should have shown up.
This is another good one. Scotty writes, he said, "Do you all think the main villain should have been Matt Smith, who, and this was a rumor, of course, supposedly played Snoke, but revealed to be a descendant of Darth Plagueis." I know it's something you just thought of, but I know Matt Smith was supposed to be the guy who was like a Sith worshiper,
Right.
and according to rumor, he was the one who gets possessed by Palpatine's spirit, and he takes on Rey and Ben, and that's the way it was supposed to go. But then I don't know, they changed it somewhere along the line. And I don't even remember Matt Smith even being in the movie, to be honest with you. After he was, I don't know. I like what Austin said. I never thought of it that way, to have many clones, and that was a test. And I think that would have been awesome. That if they would have went at the end and said, "Oh, I just created a clone. I wanted to see what you do. I had a feeling. I had a feeling
Correct.
that you were going to turn on me." And I would have been like, "Whoa."
So, I mean,
That would have been really,
right? I mean, so
because then it would say.
Sorry, go on.
What was that, Austin?
No, I said they made him a clone. Like, in essence, made him a clone. So there was no reason to not do that, right?
Hey, I kind of feel left out. I'm the only one here without glasses.
I agree. I think that was great.
It's all right. You're the only one who has 20/20 vision, man. You get to see the girl's beauty firsthand. It's not a bad thing.
I don't have to listen. I don't have to wear the glasses to have a good time, right?
That's right. Listen, man. Just to make you feel better, I'm going to show you something, right? These glasses are fake. See, look.
They're fake.
There's no lenses in these. They're just for show, man.
Oh, so Rob's the only one with real glasses.
You know why I wear the glasses? It makes me a sexy baby.
Yeah, you can tell mine are definitely real. You can see.
Makes me look like an intellectual.
Oh, it wouldn't be Austin without his mojo. Come on now.
Yeah.
Isaac says again, he's a feather waste. They tried so hard to make her a new Boba Fett, but they failed. Boba has less screen time and is still more badass and loved. What do you guys think of that comment with Captain Phasma?
Well, let me tell you. Oh, go ahead. You go first. No worries.
The movies. Luke, what is it? Boba and Phasma? Here's the thing. In my honest opinion, Boba is kind of overrated, honestly. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I like him is because I read the books. Again, I read the books. But when it comes to the movies, he's not that good. But I think he is better than Phasma because he got Han and Carbonite. He did a few things. He fought against Luke and stuff like that. What did Phasma do? What did she do? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Boba. Right, exactly. Boba is overrated, but he still did more than Phasma. So I'm gonna have to agree with that.
Listen, I agree with the overrated a little bit, but it's hard to say someone's overrated who has a really wicked jet rocket pack. You put a rocket pack on Phasma, and that might jump her charisma up a little bit. She could thrown herself out of the garbage, right? A rocket pack seals the deal on that, right? But here's the thing. Here's something we overlook with Phasma. She's a hot babe, man. Like, come on, man. We didn't even consider her as one of the hottest chicks. And we know that I like the tall giants personally. And just thinking about how she can shag, I don't know. I mean, I keep wondering what kind of a shag Phasma was given.
I think, listen, another thing I want to bring up since you brought that up again. Yeah, Phasma was a waste. We got pumped up. We were looking for this really big warrior. And, what was she good for? She was good in the first scene, then she gets thrown in a trash compactor, she lowers the shield, and that's the end of her. And the second time, she fights Finn and she dies. And I'm like, okay, and then they have armor, which is also baffling. If her armor is blaster proof, why wouldn't you make the First Order like that? Right. Why not have the First Order armor to be blaster proof, right?
Maybe they don't have enough materials, like enough money for the materials. Because you remember the Last Jedi, they were paying for a lot of weaponry and a lot of vehicles and stuff. Maybe they didn't have enough money for all the troopers to have that type of material. Maybe.
They're not made of money. I mean, they just lost the Star Killer base. I mean, that must have cost them a fortune. I mean, just think of the insurance alone. You lost another what? 10 star. We can't insure your next one for sure. You're done.
Right.
Their insurance premiums must be through the roof.
That's true. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. But how about this? And I think I talked with Shanie about this. I don't know if I talked to Luke about, or Austin definitely didn't. What about if the Knights of Ren? And this again, and I know Shanie said, don't think reasonable when you think of these movies, and it's hard not to, in my opinion, because I wanted it to make sense. Luke says that Kylo Ren killed the temple, he killed his students, and he took some of them with him.
Yes.
So they're not force sensitive. They don't have lightsabers. They don't have force powers. Kylo. Why would they turn on Kylo Ren? They told that Kylo Ren was going to help out Rey. I mean, aren't these his boys? Aren't these the people that got his back? If he told them, hey, look, my uncle tried to kill me back here, and they would be like, yeah, we're going with you, man. We ain't staying with some crazy guy who's going to kill you. We're your guys, Now, Luke wouldn't just train any average everyday warrior. He wouldn't. Right. He's going to he's building a Jedi temple. That means people who have the Force. Right. Why would these guys who supposedly left with Kylo Ren not be Force sensitive? It doesn't make any damn sense to me, and I think they're just an entire waste of a very cool group that could have been so much more. But I'll let you guys handle that one. Well,
it's a very simple answer. Horrible writing. That's all there is to it. It's bad writing. The whole thing is like, we can ask the question about why this, why that. In the end, it all comes down to they just didn't put a lot of thought into anything. It was just really poor rush writing. And in the end, there was no actual plan. And that's the problem. There was no plan from the beginning, and there was no follow through with anything. And that's where you have this disjointed mess in the end. Because nothing made sense, because nothing was planned or organized.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree. As it says, the Knights of Ren are force sensitive was shown in a comic. Okay, well, I didn't know that.
Oh, the comics
they
and the
don't
books.
Use it. And they don't use it in episode 9, so I guess no one updated Jar Jar Abrams on that part.
But hold on. That still doesn't prove your point, because you said he was trained by Luke in the art of the Jedi. He wasn't trained to be force sensitive, because hell, Finn was force sensitive by the end. It doesn't mean a damn thing. So to say you're force sensitive is one thing, but to actually have the force and use the force is a completely different thing. So you would assume that if Luke was training, they wouldn't just be force sensitive. They would actually know how to use the bloody force. At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
I know.
That's a good point. And because he beat, first of all, like I was sitting to myself saying, why would they turn against him? Like they were all there. You know what I thought? Oh man, he's got his crew. He's gonna bring his crew to Palpatine, And I thought he was going to go with the Knights of Ren, and they're gonna be like, yeah, we got your back, man. We got your back. And I thought they were going. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to bring up another point, because of the fact that, like, in order for his people to turn on Luke, all right, Luke, who is a grandmaster, Luke, who is a legend, all right, at this point, Luke Skywalker defeated Darth Vader. He's a legend. In order for people to just abandon Luke, right, then Luke must have been really awful. Other than that, right, other than just that one moment, he must have been really awful. Now, how could that be when I don't believe Luke for a minute could just turn on Kylo Ren because he he smelt some bad breath on him or something like that. I mean, I could believe it if perhaps he caught Kylo Ren twisting the heads off of Porgs, here and there, just snapping Porgs' necks, at random, becoming psychopathic and noticing some evil traits on him. That's like, I don't know if this kid's got it. I mean, he's snapping Porgs' necks, dissecting them. He's got a little bit of a sick mind. And if that's the case, then why would they follow him? Are they all sick-minded then? So then Luke was just training a bunch of sick people on an island who all turned evil? Did anyone think about anything while writing these films?
A lot of them died, though. Remember, a lot of them got killed. So
he killed the good ones, right?
Oh, by the way, he said no. I mean, like they literally used the force in a comic book. They force push, they force pull, they levitate stuff. The basics.
Right.
I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you that's a cover up. That's what they did. What they did was they realized that when they did the movie, they're like, oh yeah, they didn't use any force powers. Oh yeah, they didn't have lightsabers. Oh, okay, so we'll make it in the comic book that they do now. Yeah, so then why wouldn't they use it in the movie? Why would they just let the, if they all the force, they should have killed him. I mean, literally, they could have killed him if they're all using the force against him. They could push him, pull him, beat him, throw him. He wouldn't stand a chance. One guy against 6 who had the force, you're not going to stand a chance. There's just no way. You're outnumbered. And why?
When they were underused, they were cool people. They seemed like a cool idea, and they were completely underused. Just like Phasma, just like anything cool that could have happened in that film or those films, they just completely abandoned any cool thing and just focused on Rey. Oh, Rey.
And you know what's funny? Like Phasma was a woman, okay? And it's funny because I think that everybody, and I don't care who you are, whether you wanted Phasma, everybody see Phasma be she was a woman. Cares about that? Irrelevant that she's a woman. What we care is that you have a character right about a female. Well, she's a commander. Okay, so why wasn't she used? Why if you want to push female heroes or enemies in the story, you have one. You have one in Phasma. Right. Why wasn't she pushed to be, man, this woman's wicked. This woman's badass. This woman takes no prisoner. Like, why didn't she come out during the battle and jump in a TIE fighter and boom, 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 right, and be like, oh, man, now what are they going to do? I don't understand why.
Disney only cares about Disney princesses. You can't turn Phasma into a Disney princess. See, Disney is not in the business of making... Listen, this whole thing is, they lie about feminism. They don't care about feminism. What they care about is turning... they know who their number one demographic is. It's little girls, because little girls buy their little stuffed plush toys, and they love little girls, and that's why Disney has always had little girl leads, and they decided they needed another little girl lead, and that's why Rey was the one that they made into the Disney princess, whereas Phasma, she doesn't qualify. She's Cruella de Vil at most, and they didn't care about her.
Yeah.
They only cared about Rey, honestly. They cared about Rey's what they cared about.
Exactly.
Yeah, but to me, it's like they're sitting there talking about they want to have a diversity and leads and all this stuff. So I'm like, okay, so you could have had. Why couldn't Phasma give Rey a hard time? Phasma been chasing Rey. What happened?
The whole feminist agenda by Disney is a crock. It's a crock. It doesn't exist. It's a lie. Because if they cared about feminism, do you think it would have taken them 10 movies to finally make a female film? No, they would have cared before, but they didn't. It wasn't popular enough. They're just going with the trends. You think Disney actually cares about feminism? They don't. It's all because it's trendy and it's trending now, and they want to look cool, and so they're talking about it. But where were they before Wonder Woman? They were doing nothing. People kept saying, "Where's your Black Widow film?" But they wouldn't bring it out. Why not? Why did it take them so long to bring out Black Panther if they were so worrying about woke things? They didn't care. No, they had to wait for people to get become trendy. Then all of a sudden they cared. It's a lie. That's why.
Well, I guess it's just like you said before about Filoni. It's pandering to the crowd. It's trying to get approval of what you. Yeah, and I think that's basically what it is. Isaac says that they could have all combined their powers and force froze Kylo and have one of them just walk up to him and stab him. No amount of Skywalker blood could save anyone from that. And he's right. Yeah, it could. If they all had the Force, man, he should have been dead. He should have been dead. That's the first thing. The second thing is they shouldn't have turned on him. I think that they should have went with him and walked up to Palpatine and said, okay, now what? Now you got me, and them. What are you going to do? It's only you. It's only you. Yeah.
And why didn't they have lightsabers? Why were they using clubs and weird, stupid, weapons? Why weren't they using lightsabers? They're all Force. If they all had the Force, Why were they not using lightsabers? That seems to be something that, you know, every Force user just has, right? A lightsaber. That's what separates the Jedi from, or the Siths or whatever from not. You know, you think they would have kyber crystal, you know, found a kyber one, at least one of them used a bloody lightsaber.
It's the weapon
frozen.
of a Jedi. I mean, that's the Jedi weapon. And Jedi
even Grievous had lightsabers.
Right.
That's one when people will like it's true. But so many problems with the prequels. I was like, I don't understand why you're having so many problems with them, besides maybe one character that was overused in the first movie. But I think that he improved on that as the movies went along. And I know another thing, he like Filoni said, he says, "Oh, Star Wars is for kids, but you guys wanted to be because you grew up." I'm a girl. I would like to see a darker Star Wars. I agree. I would like to see more of a mature Star Wars. Like if you want to make kiddish stuff for Star Wars, great. Go with cartoons, get them into it. That's fine. But the first movie I saw had a guy's arm chopped off with blood leading on the ground, and you see two skeletons being burnt.
Right,
So that means that the person was burnt alive. They were burnt alive. They destroyed. They killed the poor Jawas. You see all these poor. Yes, you don't see their bodies, but they're all flat. I'm like, man, as a kid, that was pretty powerful. That was like, I was like, that is wicked evil, because the Jawas, listen, all they were scavengers. They weren't a threat to anybody. They weren't like the Sand people were way more of a threat than the Jawas ever were.
Right.
And to see that this was done, and then you say, well, Star Wars is for a kid. And okay, I understand what you meant it, but to me, Star Wars is for everyone. Like my grandparents loved it. My parents loved it. I loved it. Yeah. It wasn't just about me and my friends. It was about everybody's parents loved it too. You know, I mean, they were, oh, we got to go see the second one. You know, it was only 3 years later. So if I'm 5 years old when the first movie comes out, I'm now 8. I'm not going to a movie by myself. I don't have that kind of, you know, bread to spilling out. My parents are like, no, we're going to see it all together. And the whole family went. So my grandmother's like, oh man, I can't wait to buy this. And at the time, there was no DVD streaming service. It was just a VHS tape. That was it. You had a VCR and a VCS tape. That's all we had. And that was it. There was no, I don't know if there's cable. I don't even remember, but that was it. And so if my grandparents loved it and my parents loved it and I loved it, to me, I'm like, okay, yeah, you might have geared it towards kids, but it wound up being so big that everybody loved it. And I don't see the issue if you make things for everybody. You could say, hey, this one's a cartoon. This is more geared for the kids. We're going to make a cartoon more geared for the older people. We have a little bit of both. Who would have a problem with it?
Right.
I mean,
well, it wasn't. I mean,
I don't know.
Let's be honest. There was a lot of scenes that weren't very kid friendly. Sorry,
you were saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was saying that there was a lot of scenes that weren't very kid friendly. I mean, they massacred the younglings, for instance. I mean, you know, there was all kinds of things that they did that were just not right for kids. I mean, they cut off hands and arms and limbs. You know, I mean, how terrifying was Anakin in the Revenge of the Sith at the end, all torn up? You know, he was like a nub. He was like a spider where they plucked his arms off. It was horrifying.
Yeah.
That's not really.
That was pretty brutal. I have to say. Yeah, I don't think that's a part for the kid. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted my child to see that, because that was a brutal, brutal part. Even me in the theater, I was like, oh my God.
I mean, the original had incest, for heaven's sakes.
Hey, Rob, I have a question. Has your kid seen the movies yet? Like Mia?
No, she
really?
She knows characters. She knows that. She knows characters, but she's not, like, right now, she's not at a stage that she wants to sit down and watch a movie to her. She's more into, because now you have YouTube. So she's more into like a 5-minute video, 10-minute, because her attention span is not there yet. You know, she's more of like, she wants to watch a quick cartoon, or she wants to watch something that's funny, and that's fine. If this is the entertainment that you like a little cartoon and it makes you laugh, okay, fine. Because if she's seen a couple, but she doesn't stay for the whole thing. She starts to get antsy. If it's a Disney movie, whatever I try to put, she gets antsy and she wants to go do something else, and so it's not there. She wants to draw. So. She's more artistic, which is great because I'm not. She draws really well. She does music. This is more her speed than movies or television, and that's fine if that's what she enjoys. But she knows she loves. She knows who Ray is because obviously it's her age. So she's the Vader, the Stalker. She knows a lot. She keeps calling me, which is pretty funny. I got to laugh at it. Oh, look, Daddy, too. I was like, okay, maybe. Maybe it's me with a helmet on. I don't know, but it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Right. Is it just?
But I again, that.
Yeah. Is it just me, or is Rob's connection cutting out a little bit there?
Luke?
Yes, yeah, you keep coming. You're a bit choppy because you. I thought
it was maybe my internet. You agree?
Yeah,
it's just.
Yeah.
Yeah, his thing's frozen right now.
And we don't. No, what?
Yeah. It's not just me. His internet is kind of. I can't hear him right now. He's frozen.
Yes, he's frozen. Oh my God, they've got him. You've gone to the dark side. You're turning. You're turning on us, Rob. Moderators. Oh, it's just us two now. Oh no.
All right. Anyway, yeah, he'll come back shortly. That's fine. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna subscribe to you. You should.
I'll subscribe to you too, my friend. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. I have my link. My channel in the description down below. I think you should put yours too. I'll subscribe to you. What videos do you make?
Well, I make Shanie makes parody videos, a lot of parody. Right now he's changing the game and he's starting to do a little bit more reaction videos to things. But he's got Austin Powers, like me, reacting to things, like PSVR and
Right.
Right now, that's what he's doing. A lot of parody videos. So check that out.
You're a funny guy. I'm gonna check you out for sure.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep.
What happened to you? You got disconnected. Did Palpatine get you? And you come back as Palpatine?
No, I think he had a quick minute with Leia. Real quick there.
Oh, a quickie with Leia.
He's still frozen. He's still frozen for some reason.
And he's frozen in carbonite. Boba Fett got him.
His connection is still bad.
My internet. Hold on.
Oh, what a lovely pose.
Well, I was actually. He's gone. He's gone again. Boba Fett got him. So, what kind of stuff do you do, my friend? What's your channel about?
All right, so pretty much, I'd like to actually have you on, but we're doing a live stream series where we're reviewing each Star Wars movie, and right now we're at the originals. We have all the original characters we need, but if you want to come on from one of the sequels, you can if you want. We could trash them together.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I got to see what time we've got going on, but sure. Let me hit me up. Do you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter. You can find me through Rob. I think he posted our Twitters on his feed. So yeah, right. But I do that. I'm not the only part of the Entertainment crew. There's another part of us. There's two of us. He's not here today. We do reviews, versus alternate versions, which is basically theories, or basically theories and stuff like that. But we call it our own thing. And we also do tier list videos, rankings, stuff along those lines. So,
right, well, yeah. I'll definitely check that out, man. I'll check it out. Look who's back, man. You're unfrozen.
I tried. I had to
No,
reset the internet. I tried that.
Yeah, your internet's better now.
Okay, good. Yeah, I what I did was I just took me out of the stream. I hit my internet. I fixed it, and sometimes it gives me a little problem. It's funny, they gave me new equipment, yet it gives me more problems than when I had the older equipment. I'm like, what? Oh, this is a good point.
The old
Isaac
equipment
says
was fine, right?
Yeah, I got no problems with mine, thank God. Isaac says, I missed the lightsaber dismemberment. It just does not have that wow. Lightsabers don't do crap in Disney Star Wars. Why would you bother to stab someone with it? It just cut them in half or cut off the arm and leg. Yeah, I mean, listen, a major point of that is Finn. If you remember Force Awakens, his back gets ripped up, yet he's fine. Right. He's fine, The Last Jedi. One day later, he's totally fine. How is that possible? How in the world could that be possible?
Remember, things for kids. That's why. That's Disney is for kids, and they're not going to allow dismembering or tearing off an arm. In the end, they do as much as we want it to be for adults or a little bit more adult. Disney's never going to let that happen, and as long as it's in Disney's hands, we're going to get Ninja Turtles 2. Remember Ninja Turtles 2?
Yeah. They have Adam Driver shirtless. I mean,
well, his high-waisted pants were shagadelic, man. It gave me. I wanted to try that out.
Listen, I'd much rather have seen, if anything, Daisy Ridley than Adam Sandler, honestly.
Oh, I agree 100%, man. 100%, I agree on that. Slave Rhea.
I gotta say, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with you guys, but I'm gonna call it anyway because I got to go here. Before I go, I think channel. Did you?
Yeah, we talked about our channels already, so that's fine. I mean, unless you want to go again.
Yeah. His thing's freezing again.
Oh no, that Boba Fett! He keeps freezing you in carbonite.
Oh, you did already.
Yes,
yeah.
It's all right. It's time to go anyway. I'm getting a little hot under the collar. My marriage is starting to run.
Yeah, I'm having streams. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me.
All right, my friends. Have a good one.
Just want to thank, if you could hear me, I want to thank everybody who came, everybody in the chat. I want to thank Austin Powers. I want to thank Entertainment Crew. And Austin, I hope you get the chance to thank Shanie Entertainie for me because he's a great guy.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of both you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You too, everyone. Everyone be well. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you next time. Be well, everyone.
Yep. You have a nice one.
Goodbye.
That sucks. My stream was frozen.
Technically, we're still live.
We're still live.
I think it.
Oh no! We won't stop living. We're still live.
It won't end. That's so fun. We're still live. Well, I don't know. I cannot end it.
You didn't want us
the computer does not want to end.
We're in